see how get it all. How is everyone? I have to change. I'll try to find all the meeting settings so this works better.
Oh, I just lost you for some reason.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, there you are. There you are. Glenn, if it's easier, I have a large Zoom account for myself. I can certainly happy to do these in the future if we want.
No. I got it. It's just complicated is all I'm saying. So I'll get it all sorted out.
So who did your caricature? Do you know?
Yeah, it was like a work party. And so no, I don't know the name of the guy.
Because I found one when I was cleaning out a closet when I was redoing my office that was done by a guy in the audience at a when I was emceeing a show in New Hampshire for Sounds of the Seacoast. We could be brothers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
They said I look like Alan.
I'm sorry.
One year we had every year at the Narragansett Bay Christmas party, we used to have different entertainment, non-barbershop entertainment. We've had
things besides barbershop entertaining.
Yeah, jugglers, magicians, you name it, we've had it. We had Miss Rhode Island one year. We had, different things. And I found a caricaturist that did caricatures that looked like the one you have. They're very similar to that. But I mean, he did them in like, okay, here's yours.
Yeah, so he did this on a tablet and then emailed it to me.
This guy did it on the, on
the paper,
on an easel with pastels, and he did everybody's caricature in a matter of like I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and talked while he was doing it and explained what he was doing. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, but I love this one. I use this one at work all the time because this is like looks better than me usually. So, well, all the time.
So while we're waiting, I emceed the Sweet Adeline Region 1 contest yesterday, and they did in Springfield. They didn't know how many people they were going to have. They had to have the convention or they were going to lose. Gail told me between $60,000 and $65,000 in penalties because of the hotels and the banquets and all the things they had committed to.
Wow. And
so they had the convention anyway, even though they knew it was going to be very small. They did stream it, and they had a hybrid contest where they had 8 quartets live come in for the contest, and then they had one that submitted a video. They had 4 choruses live, and they had 12 that submitted video. So all the Alan, you'll like this part. All the adjudicating had to happen in the same day by the same panel. So the panel started at 8:30 in the morning doing the videos. Got through for lunch, took a break, and then they had the live contest and got through with that around 5 o'clock. But good contest. They actually had about 250 people. Most of them were competitors. Not very many non-competitive people were there, but the way it was set up in a hotel ballroom instead of normally being in the symphony halls like they've had it for the last 30 some odd years. They had it in a ballroom, and just the audience were the competitors. In other words, you'd sing and go sit in the audience and cheer on the other guy. So it went pretty well. But And Harmony on the Sound chorus out of Connecticut won again. They win the year the Coastline doesn't compete. Coastline wins the year they don't compete. That's the way it's been going for the last almost 25 years, I guess. Kind of monotonous for everybody else, but. And quartet from Connecticut, one called Saffron. Are you familiar with them, Alan?
Yep.
Sang very well.
They were expected to win, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, there was clearly them. And then Karen Rock's quartet that won our Eastern Division came in second. They were clearly second. And then everybody else was kind of like, who knows who's going to come in third or eighth or whatever, you know. But I didn't see Mike Savard there. I saw Mary Savard there.
Judging virtually must be really, really difficult.
Yeah, I don't understand why they had to have it all in the same day. I don't get that. What difference does it make if the video is a video? I don't know, but Sweet Adeline's wanted. They had a great panel. Sandy Wright was judging their renamed showmanship category, which is now visual presentation or something like that.
Visual communication, I think.
Visual communication. There you go.
Is that a replacement category, or I thought they added a category?
No, that's just replacing showmanship. And then, so that was Sandy Wright. Betty Clipman was there. Haven't seen her in a while. So, good time was had by all. It looks like we're gathering quickly. Hello, everyone that's jumped on. Take just another minute and then get started. Try to have this wrapped up on time or a little earlier. So Mike, where were you yesterday? What's the story?
I had a day to work on stuff on my own. It was great.
Wow. You had a non barbershop day?
No.
Oh.
Well, I got the last of the Western videos up. I finally got the last information I needed on all the copyright stuff from a couple of the straggler quartets. It took a while to do cohesion because they had like 8 different copyright holders for each song.
Right. Amanda was there yesterday.
I was. Not competing, just relaxing. It was great.
Right. I only saw you from a distance.
You did a great job.
I learned from the best. You know? I took notes when you did the Western.
Must be some notes.
All right. Looks like we have a good crew. Glenn, do we have a quorum?
We do have a quorum, so we are good to go.
All right, then let's move along. Welcome, everyone. Any changes or additions to the agenda that I was not sent already? Okay. Then we'll have the approval of the minutes. Anyone have any questions about the minutes? Anyone want to know why Glenn is so good looking tonight?
Up there. Because I had, but yeah, now I'm all set.
Oh,
See, I timed it. So yeah, so now it's like, hey, yeah.
you're not as good looking now. All right. Anything for Glenn on the minutes?
Cool. I will take the minutes as accepted then.
All right. Just a note, the next meeting is June 26th, as we had published. Those of you should have received an email from Jamie Jones. I was quite surprised. He walked into my studio. As those of you that don't know, he works with me, and he walked into the studio and says, "I have to resign." I said, "You haven't even started yet. It's just been 2 weeks." He said he realized that with kids, he has one son that's going to Syracuse University, a daughter that's going to UConn, another son that's a senior in high school. And so he thought that things are going to be easier. Instead, it's gotten tougher because he's now got to drive to Syracuse and all that stuff. So for one reason or another, he decided something had to go in his life. He resigned from VU. He was their president last year. So he resigned from the board there, and he's not singing with them either, from what I understand. So we are now, once again, minus a chapter support vice president. So the last person on usually takes over the job. Oh, here comes.
I guess he heard you.
Yeah, I thought that was going to work. Yeah. The last person that signs on gets to have the 2 vice president jobs. Dan Falcone, 1. So now, if any of you have some suggestions for vice president of chapter support, I'd be happy to take them. I don't have any prerequisites. If we had like 5 candidates and they were all equally talented and good in their job, and we had to vote, that would be great. I don't foresee that happening. It would be great if we had some representation from different parts of the district, but put your thinking caps on, division managers. If you know of someone, or if a division manager wants a promotion, you'll get double the pay you get as a division manager if you become the vice president of chapter support.
Ooh, can I do it?
Steve volunteered. So think about that. Anyone have anything to say on that? Other than, Mike, you idiot, why'd you put him in place? No. Okay. Secretary's report, Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, not too much. We are getting up a bunch of shows are starting to come in for the fall, which is great. I think it's always like good news. So to share that. And actually we've got working through a 50-mile thing, which is great too, because I'd like to get consensus on what we're going to do with 50-mile rule before the HOD. So as we work through this, we'll get that all resolved and cleaned up and have a nice, I'll put together a proposal for that.
That would be good.
Yep. And that is it.
Anything for Glenn? We're zipping right along. Look at the excitement on the faces. It's great. All right, let's go to treasurer's report. Mr. John.
Yeah, I'm going to excite you too. Basically, I have not much more to report than I did a month ago. I'm still waiting for a lot of information regarding Western, and I'm still looking for some information on Eastern. So I could publish some things, but they would be pretty meaningless and probably misleading. So what the things that are outstanding yet, we still don't have any information about what the charges from the society are going to be for judging panel in both Eastern and Western. And based on historical information, I had anticipated about $400 a head. Given some of the flight information I've seen subsequently, I'm concerned it's going to be higher than that. So I'm estimating there's about $4,000 of charges for both conventions that I haven't seen yet.
For each.
For both Eastern and Western, yes.
So 4,000 each, not 4,000 total.
Correct. I that's basically a panel of 8 times 500 apiece. I'm hoping it'll be less, but I really, unless Alan has better information than I do, that's best I can do at the moment.
Is that the way it's going to work in the future, Alan, or
It is.
should we know ahead of time?
No, you won't know ahead of time. They're going to take all the expenses that the society incurred and divide it by the total number of judges.
By the total number of districts or by the total number of contests?
total number of judges.
Right, but who pays the bill?
So they get $1 per judge, and then we pay for how many judges we had.
Correct.
Right. In other words, they'll take everything BHS paid, which is basically everything up to arriving at the contest or landing on the ground. They will take all of that into one pool and they'll divide it by the number of assigned judges.
But my question is, once we come up with that total, does each district pay that for a portion of that total?
Yeah.
Whether they had a contest or not?
Only,
No.
only if they had judges.
It's based on the number of judges you had assigned to your contest.
Okay. So the fact that some districts decided not to have a convention, they won't be charged anything.
I believe that's correct.
No, but there wouldn't be any costs in the pool associated with those contests either.
No, but I was originally told at the EPC meeting that it was going to be shared by all 17 districts. Now, that was before,
Yeah, I think the assumption was that all 17 districts would have a contest when they said
Right.
that.
Right.
So I think down the road, this won't be as big an issue because we'll have some history that we can use to make a better estimate. The problem is we don't haven't any history for the last 2.5 years. And because not everybody's having conventions, it may change some of the numbers as well. So I think this is an issue this year and possibly next year, but it ought to smooth out unless they change the process again. But it is an issue for right now. As far as the Western Regional goes, that's basically all I know of for Eastern. We occasionally get a late reimbursement request come in, but the other thing that's possibly outstanding from Eastern is the fee for the host chapter. So unless Providence wants to waive that, there'll be a $500 charge associated with Eastern for that.
I thought they already had it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. No, if they got it, I don't think they got it from me.
No? Okay, I thought maybe it was assumed it was coming because I saw it in the treasurer's report. He must have put incoming.
All right, so
Wishful thinking.
those are the two things outstanding for Eastern. Western, almost everything's outstanding. Well, I exaggerate, but I have all the charges for the hotel rooms. I have, except for the hotel that Parkside Harmony stayed at, I have no detail. So I have no idea how to assign the charges. Don't know how many were judges, events team, people we shouldn't have been paying for. I got no detail. Bob's been working on it for me, but we don't have it yet. Then let's see, we just received the expense reimbursement request from Parkside Harmony for their travel up here. It appears to be within what we had budgeted, so I don't see it as an issue, but I haven't had time to go through it yet. We still don't, let's see, we don't, the host chapter for Western was supposed to be Saratoga. I know some of their members came up and did stuff, but I guess the question should be asked is, are they still due their host fee? Anybody?
And you have a suggestion there?
In my world of thinking, yes, it would be Saratoga. I know I had 5 or 6 from Plattsburgh, but they didn't come down with the intention of anything or any reimbursement. Basically, it was support for the district, Western, and my behalf.
Just from my point of view, it was guys from Saratoga that took care of some of the judge Transportation, we took a lot of it away from them because we rented the van. It was just easier and we needed it at the convention itself. But there were a couple of guys that did some runs, including somebody at 4 a.m. If that's all that Saratoga did, I would rather see us reimburse those 2 or 3 guys that did something.
Is there a way to find that out, Bob, as to whether we should be just paying those 2 or 3 guys, or
Yes. Yeah, I'll take care of that.
we'll leave
Okay.
it in your capable hands?
Thank you.
So I will await a voucher from you for that. Bob?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take care of that, John.
All right. Steve, do we have a program bill for Western? You may have sent it to me and it fell through the crack, but I am not aware that I've received one.
I don't believe we've received it. I know what it is, but only because I was told, as you saw in my report. But the actual bill has not come through yet. So you're
All right.
correct.
Would you follow up on that for
Yep.
me?
Yep.
Thank you. And then the offset to all of those expenses that we don't have yet booked, we have 2 grants that we haven't yet received. And one of the things that's holding both of those up is my ability to give them the reports they need to pay them. So,
I have the forms. I've been filling out what I can as far as from the charges that we've paid. Once we get those filled out, I've already spoken with the town of Queensbury, and they're expecting, they're not hurrying us at this point. They understand that we're still getting bills in and invoices. And so I'm putting that together for the reimbursement. And as we've got now the thing from Parkside, I think we've pretty much got everything that we can get reimbursed for.
okay, Bob, would you run that by me for my review before you submit anything, though, if you're going to do that?
I always do, John.
All right.
Always do.
All right. So having said all of that, my best guess at this point is that the Eastern Regional will have cost net about $10,000, and the Western will have cost net about 2,000. And I believe the budgets were 7,000 for Eastern and about 2,000 for Western. So Western is going to be fairly close to right on budget, and Eastern exceeded it by about $3,000. And it was all of that was registration based.
Not enough registration, basically.
Correct. I mean, for Western as an example, I believe we budgeted about $13,000 or $14,000 worth of registrations, and we got about 10. Eastern, I don't have off the top of my head, but it was similarly light compared to what we had hoped for.
On the Eastern, John, you're also counting the grant we got from the Chamber of Commerce, correct?
That is,
$1,000?
yes, yep.
Okay.
So hopefully I will have a much more thorough report for you on June 26th or whatever date that was.
Okay, anything for John? From anyone? Seeing nothing, we'll move along. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ed's back again. Are you in your new home?
Not yet.
Getting
Still,
close.
yeah, it's still maybe by the end of July. That's what we're thinking right now. We're hoping for the end of July. So, yeah, things are coming along. They got siding on the house, so that's good. But all the drywall needs to be hung inside, and then all the other stuff, all the HVAC, electricity, plumbing is in. So we'll see. So I guess you want my report. I submitted a quick little summary to everybody on the board. I think everybody got it. If you have any questions, you ask me. It's basically we're waiting for a few things to happen right now. We're continuing to monitor the COVID situation to make sure things don't change right now. There are no restrictions as far as we're aware. But as you've been reading, COVID cases are going up again, but nobody seems to be all that concerned about it as much as they used to be. So I'm not sure what to make of that. We do have a possibility of reviving our joint concert with now the New Brunswick Youth Orchestra. We are
Let me jump
investigating
in,
that
Ed.
as a sub.
Let
Okay.
me jump in. So before you go too far, we had an opportunity to possibly do something with the youth orchestra. Unfortunately, they also have a scheduling conflict.
Mhm.
They will be traveling to Edmonton, I believe. And I don't know why when Alan, well, I guess Alan might have caught the guy off guard. And Alan, I think he said that he wasn't sure about their schedule.
That's
But
correct.
I had a long conversation, a great conversation with Ken McLeod, who is the president and CEO of the New Brunswick Youth Orchestra, and I'll call it System, because there's like 8 different orchestras involved at different levels. Unfortunately, because they're on this major trip and they have things that's going on, we could not work out a time. The only time that might have been possible, and it would not have been able to be in the theater, would have been Sunday night. And he said, you know, I'm not even sure what kind of reaction I could get to gather the troops after they've been away for a while to turn up on a Sunday night. So he was not very positive about it, although he was very positive about the opportunity and thought it would be a great thing to do. For Doug Schofield, I would say that this man is very anxious to do something with barbershop groups. So when you eventually have your next opportunity, maybe you can get together with him because he was very, very excited about the possibility and would love to do it. I will send you his contact information if you want to give it to Andre or whomever you think should have it.
I'll take care of that.
All right, so because I don't want to lose his contact. Alan did a great job in setting it all up. And like I said, I had a long, great conversation with him, but it just isn't going to work for us for this particular weekend. Well, I didn't tell everybody that because I knew I was going to see you all tonight. So back to you, Mr. Ed.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know, Mike. I did say in my report if times could be arranged. So that's fine. We have a price schedule for registrations, and John Englander has sent everybody. We'll be looking at that closely, and we're on schedule to open up registrations for attendees, and also due to Alan's work to have actually early contest entry registrations also, and that'll be done in June. So that's going along, and we're hard at work at finalizing Harmony University classes and outreach opportunities for our outreach quartet. One of many outreach quartets, but our headliner quartet is Signature. So that's about it. Like I said, the registrations and contest entry will be available sometime in June. We do have a mass sing scheduled in St. John on Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. So all that's taken care of, and like I said, we'll be putting the details together on some of these other things in the coming months.
And I have something to add to your next agenda, or maybe even before that. Jamie Jones was tasked with putting together a possible bus transportation. He obviously will not be doing that. So if we need someone to that might have a contact with Voices United, since the original contact was from there.
I can do that,
How
Mike.
You can get on that?
Yep.
All right, so Ed, we're making note that Mike Savard is taking bus stuff. Bus stuff.
Okay, I wrote that down.
Me
Bus
too.
stuff.
Bus stuff. Say it 5 times fast.
No. Okay. I'm done.
Okay, any questions for Ed or comments? Okay, let's go to, speaking of Mike Savard, he's up next for a couple items.
So the Almeno Fund subcommittee, which Jamie is still involved in, hasn't backed out of that. Is making some good progress. We're going to meet again tomorrow night. Looks like John will be able to join us. We want to bounce some our preliminary plan off of him. We've kind of done a new formula for the Almeno Fund, which eliminates all that craziness about travel distances and average of the next 3 contests and all that other craziness, and just simplifies it a lot. And we've drafted a something for the code of regulations for the youth scholarship fund, which we'll also have to bounce off of our donor there. So good progress. Will be in good shape to present a recommendation at the next board meeting, which will be in time to get it included in the HOD.
Okay. I will tell you that I was a little surprised. I don't know if Mike was as surprised when we were on the last district president's council meeting. A couple of guys started bantering back and forth whether they should give their quartet $1,000 or $2,000 or $1,500 each. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I
so-
had actually asked through the DPC, a while ago, saying, hey, does anybody else have a similar kind of fund? How do you manage the investment? And the only people that replied were districts that just flat out budgeted money out of their district budget to give a fairly substantial amount of money to each international competitor. So we appear to be the only ones doing it this way.
And just so everybody's on the same page, we're talking about normally a couple $100 for a quartet to go to international. And the other districts are talking like 1,500 or 1,000 or 2,000. So I just want to keep that into perspective when we get to this new formula.
Yeah, I mean, the formula is one thing. We're also going to be recommending that we do some serious fundraising for this to make it more meaningful. And part of that is we're reaching out to NEDAC to see if that's something that they would be willing to be involved in. Now, there's already some NEDAC fundraising going on. Well, there's some fundraising going on from members of NEDAC, like for this year's international quartets. I don't think it's an official NEDAC thing, but we're hoping that maybe we can talk NEDAC into making this part of their mission to help raise funds to exceed just what we get from the very small amount of interest and then the amount we add as a result of the membership dues. And then I think we need to seriously push this at each of the conventions. Maybe have an option for donating directly as you register. We need to be talking about it from the podium during the contests. But I think we can do a lot to increase the amount of money we bring in donations every year for this.
Would all be solved if one of the rich benefactors like Steve Salomon gave $500,000 to it. We wouldn't even need the discussion. I guess that's a no.
Where to send the check, Steve?
Any questions for Mike before we'll see the final proposal next month? Thank you, Mike. And Dan Costello is working with you and Jamie, right?
Correct.
Okay, Steve, you're up. And I might have surprised Steve because I did this at the last minute when I put the agenda together. We do need to talk about the Meredith Bay Jamboree, but I've noticed that Steve had thought about calling it the Summer Jamboree. And before we get too far along, I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, actually, it is called the Meredith Bay Barbershop Jamboree in the same light as the Alton Bay Barbershop Jamboree. We just, when we were first formulating the committee, we named the committee the Summer Jamboree Committee because we don't quite know if it'll always be in Meredith Bay or Alton Bay or wherever. So it gave us the option of making it pretty clear that this is the Summer Jamboree. So the event is the Meredith Bay Barbershop Jamboree. The committee is the Summer Jamboree Committee. Is that clear?
Yeah, but what do you want to do officially when we recognize this affiliate?
So the event is what the committee is in charge of. So you're actually ruling, so to speak, on the committee, which is the Summer Jamboree Committee.
Now, does that preclude, suppose Bolton Landing wants to start again, or the Manchester Boys Club, or, you know, the Prince Edward Island Forest Foundation, and they all want to be in the summer. What do we do then?
You just form a different committee with a different name. Doesn't matter. Are you laughing?
Yes.
So yeah, right now this is the Jamboree. You know, if there's going to be another Jamboree, we'll deal with that, those crossroads when we get to it. So
Call it
Okay.
the other
is that
jamboree.
right? If you want, we can call it the Meredith Bay Barbershop Jamboree.
I just didn't know legally what would be best. Alan is our go-to guy for regulations at the moment, and I didn't know.
Right now, their committee is basically just a temporary task force. It's not in the op code as a committee of the district. So they could call themselves the Steve Salomon Committee, and we shouldn't care.
But the intent is that we put it in the operating code, right, Steve?
No, not at all. No, this is coming under your power to appoint a committee, period.
Okay.
And so when you made the announcement at Western, that was simply you stating that you, as president, was now making that committee official. And that's all I'm seeking, is for it to be made official.
Okay.
And it can be ratified by this group if you want. It doesn't have to be, but it ultimately, right. It ultimately just lands totally in the president's lap.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted something in the op code about it.
Nope.
Okay.
No, because then I would have proposed something totally different. I mean, it would have, not totally different, just a whole different picture, because that would be, you know, that's legal. So no, I did not intend for it to go that route at all, even
Okay.
though I made it look so official. So,
You did.
Yeah. No, I'm just seeking you guys, seeking everyone to accept this. And Mike, you've made the announcement already. And the only thing left right at the moment is that we wish to open a bank account, and the bank account requires a board approval. The minutes must prove that the signers on the account are duly noted in the minutes of the district. So tonight, what I'd like to just be clear about is who, well, I can tell you, let me explain. We need to open an account. We've chosen Meredith Savings Bank, Meredith Village Savings Bank. We've chosen them because Arthur Lively has an account there and a relationship with the bank for years, also because of the Laconia chapter. So he is going to be our main go-to person right there in Meredith for this. He's a signer. We are proposing that Karen Rourke be another signer on the account, as well as John Englander. So those three people are proposed. I mean, I'd like to make a motion basically and say that these three people will be the signatories on a new account at Meredith Village Savings Bank.
Okay, we have a motion, looking for a second.
Second.
So Alan, if there's money involved, does it need to be in the op code? Does that change any of the equations?
I think this John England to tell me if, but I think that we have to be very careful that if the district is voting, what is the district promising? Normally, any I can't think of an account that we've got that isn't managed by the treasurer.
Yeah, even
Oh,
the
you're on mute.
NEDAC funds are managed by the treasurer.
Yeah, we had one for a long time, which was the NEDAC fund, which we corrected or changed about 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. Maybe
Right.
could be longer by now. But as of this moment, I'm not aware of any that fall out of that. And I would equate this account to similar to NEDAC in that it is under the district auspices and the treasurers, but it's really managed in the case of NEDAC by that committee. There are no other district funds that go in and out of it except by decision of the board. And I would say this is essentially the same thing.
Except
John, who are the
NEDAC.
signatories for that one?
For
For the
the
NEDAC fund?
NEDAC,
Just you, right, John?
it's me, but there's also a member of NEDAC, and I'd have to look up whoever was president, I believe, at the time we converted. But I don't recall who that is. I'll have to check.
Well, but I think, I guess what I'm saying is that I think John should be a signatory on there. If there's somebody else that's okay. But like all the rest of the accounts, the address and all of that should be that of the district so that John gets all of the reports.
Yep. That's exactly what we're proposing.
Okay. If we do that,
So-
I think we're okay.
So John will be the main signature, is what we're saying, like he is in NEDAC, because we don't even know who the other signature is for NEDAC. I believe it's probably Larry Bean. That's who made the transition.
I believe that's correct now that you mention it.
So the motion is, we have a motion, we have a second, and I guess we need more discussion on it, or are we clear as to how that's gonna work?
Yes.
Could we do
try
a
to write it up?
Yeah, could we do a friendly amendment that the account is a Northeastern District account for the Meredith Bay Jamboree?
The
And-
original proposal was Northeastern District Barbershop Harmony Society Summer Jamboree.
Do you have text for it, Steve, that you could put in chat, or do you? I'm trying to write it down, but
I don't
you
have
something.
anything handy.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to write it down here. Actually, I'll share what I have here. I'm just trying to get it. I'm trying to make notes and do this all at the same time. So it's okay. So open account. Okay, so Alan, you wanted to phrase it this way: open account in the name of the district, or
In
whatever,
the name of, yeah, I think what Steve said is fine, the Northeastern District, BHS.
Yep.
Summer Jamboree or.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. And with John Englander and the other two would be fine as signatories. But the address should be whatever John now has for the address on the account for all of the other accounts.
Which is his personal home address.
Which is, I believe, his home address, right?
Correct.
Yep. Good.
Okay.
And just to be also clear with John too, it's actually not necessary for John or for Karen to be present at the bank to do the signature papers. They can be mailed and each of you can put the signature on and mail it back.
Friendly bank.
Yeah, yeah. And that was because of the relationship that already exists with Arthur, with Art Lively. So.
All right, that's good. We have a motion, we have a second, we have it in writing in front of us. We go back to the screen, Glenn, so we can see.
Sure.
All those in favor? raise your hand, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, opposed? One
Is there one opposed?
opposed?
Okay.
Dan, was that an opposed or no? Okay. that's-
I had my hand raised.
As opposed?
As not opposed. I was just adjusting
Okay.
my
Okay.
camera.
Okay,
All right.
I'll mark
So
it as
we're-
unanimous.
We're unanimous then. Okay, good. All right, thank you, Steve. Anything else, Steve, you want to give us
Nope,
on that?
that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Mike, just before we go on, we're in the midst of a relatively serious thunderstorm down here. And if my power goes out, I'm not being rude if all of a sudden I disappear. So I just wanted you to know that the power goes out here quite a bit and this thunderstorm is really kicking up. So just to let
Okay.
you know, hopefully it'll pass and it'll be fine, but in case it just goes dead.
You do have a little bit of that Doc look about you in Back to the
Yes.
Future.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Okay. On to new business. Grant writing, we talked about, mostly happens in the past, has been happening with the Western Division. And I don't know of any other grant writing that's taken place in the district other than we had one for Eastern this year. But other than that, is there need, or is there someone that has an idea of how we can get someone to write grants for day-to-day operations of the district? Anyone have a feeling on that? I wasn't expecting to see a large show of hands. Yes, Andrea,
You're muted.
I think she
He's
knows.
working on it.
Found it, sorry. If the district would maybe consider going into a lot of the colleges who are trying to find, there are some students that are definitely trying to get credits, and it could be for volunteer work, especially those who are specializing in grant write work or specializing in documentation. If you go to any of the universities saying, hey, we're looking for somebody who's willing to volunteer, one, that'll cut you on cost. And two, it'll give an opportunity for a student to possibly get credits, but it depends on the university to what they may offer.
Good idea, thank you. I see
Uh,
Scott nodding his head.
Great idea.
Back when I was doing the Leadership Academy, we had a woman who came in and was discussing grant writing with for the district, and she gave a class in it, and I still have her name and her contact information. And I can certainly contact her and see if she'd be willing to help us out. I know she gave quite a good class. There were quite a few people who enjoyed it. And I just have to dig through the file and get her name out again and her contact. But she does grant writing for nonprofits. And I think somebody like that might be a help for us too.
I've got it, Bob, if you need it.
You have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you give them a percentage of what you get, I mean, down here, we use a grant writer that gets a percentage. It's only about 10 to 15%, and the grants are usually higher. It's not that big a problem.
Where would this fall if we were able to find someone like this under, certainly doesn't need to be another job for the treasurer. We have any thoughts about who could handle this, if we can look into it and get it going? Should there be a subcommittee under the treasurer, an associate treasurer, or something like that? Have we ever had those thoughts?
Do we have one?
I had spoken to Drew Wheaton last year, and he's always mentioned happy to help in any way possible. I don't know if it's something up his alley. I know that Jen Wheaton is familiar with grant writing. I don't know if that's something that if somebody in the district wants to reach out to them and ask them if it's something that they'd be interested temporarily or long-term.
So you're speaking about Drew, or?
As a combined, it might need both of them to start.
Okay. All right, I'll reach out and see We're not talking about Steve now. No, because Drew's no longer in the district. I don't know if that makes any difference.
If somebody's willing to do the work,
Okay. I'll reach out. That's a good suggestion. If anyone else comes up with somebody. Yes, Steve.
Well, it's a good idea for someone. I love the idea of a committee because this has been a request that just has bounced back and forth for years. It'd be great to have someone heading that committee in our district and then reaching out to all of these other resources and pull them all in. That would be great. Right?
Yes, that's what I'm after, actually.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to find someone here.
Does anyone in their chapter know of a legal type person that might be a good volunteer for this? It might be good to have someone do a little bit of legal training involved in this.
I can ask.
Yes, Marshall, go ahead.
We have received, we the Downeasters have received grants from the state of Maine. And the last one was denied because the reason for the grant was for new uniforms. And that went over like you know what. So, but we recently reached out to the father of one of our former members. And he's a retired attorney. And he says it's going to cost about $300 an hour for a grant writer. That's about the going price. So
Yeah, unless we get something like Bob was talking about, where they're willing to do it for a percentage, or like
Yes.
Andrea mentioned, as a internship almost type of thing.
Right.
Right. Marshall, maybe you can help me with this. Miles Hunt comes to mind.
yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Miles' father is a retired attorney.
And isn't Miles also?
Yes, he is a very busy attorney.
Okay. So in other words, I'm not calling him.
Call him. He can only say, "Hey, Mike, how are you?" But reach out to him if you'd like.
All right. Any other thoughts on that?
So Marshall, because I was taking notes, like $300 like per hour or $300 like for a grant?
Per hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I thought I heard. I just wanted to make sure I got it right.
That's the joy.
That's
of
almost
it.
what Alan gets.
Yes.
Separate news, I'm going to be starting a grant writing business next month.
Yeah, for that kind of money, we'd all write them.
Okay, next on the agenda is Mike Klein, who I don't see here. I had sent him a text. Has anyone had conversation with Mike recently? Mike Savard? No?
We've been playing phone tag.
Okay. I will see if we have him on in June specifically. Andrea, this is top secret information that you're listening to. I don't think anyone else should be able to hear it. You didn't get it. Oh, well. Okay. Amanda, you're up.
Hello.
Hello.
Nothing really new to add. We've finalized the classes and I'm just going through notifying the teachers of what they're, because I asked people, what can you teach? And we chose from that list. So just clarifying with people what they're going to be teaching and the time slots, and so the schedule is all put together. It's just about notifying the teachers now. I just got a contract from Pratt Street Power last week. I passed that along to John, and I haven't yet talked to Carolee in a few weeks. So we have to touch base on that. And I've touched base with Andrea about some stuff too, but that's pretty much it. Nothing really new for me.
Yeah, if I can make a comment on that. First of all, Amanda, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner, but I didn't really have a good answer for your question. And the question she asked was, could she sign the contract for Pratt Street Power, or did somebody else need to? And I I vaguely recall we had a discussion about this, but I don't know if we put a policy in place as to who legally can sign contracts for the district. So I guess I'd like to take this opportunity to have a brief discussion on that and decide what our process for that should be.
Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I, ooh, is that just on my phone?
No, it was
Sound like a
everywhere.
monster. I didn't know if I had to kind of present the contract to the whole board, how that works. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything in the op code that specifically addresses that. I know that Bob, as a vice president, has signed contracts. I know Alan has probably signed some contracts. No.
To my knowledge, it would be you, Mike Savard, and Bob, who are authorized. Now, I suspect there are other contracts that have been signed by other people, but unless we authorize somebody else, just by the nature of the positions that they're in, I would suggest those are the three people who can.
Ed, did you have a question or were you just?
Yeah, I seem to remember back in the days when I did HCNE that I signed contracts. I thought it was just a matter of those who were in charge of various events like that had the authorization at the vice president level. So I don't know if that, I don't think it was spelled out in the ops code that way, but you would think that we appoint these people, we elect these people to these positions and give them a program to run, say, okay, run it. They should have the opportunity, or they should have the authority to sign contracts for anything that relates to their event, whatever it might be.
I would be okay with that, Ed, so long as it's a board level position.
Yeah.
Because there are people who run events who are not.
Right. No.
The only contract I've signed for HX or HCNE is for the venue itself for the college. And I just sent the Worcester State, I had gotten a list of questions that were sent to me. And I forwarded them on to Mike, and we've been stalling off on signing the contract because I believe there were more questions coming as to the contract. So whatever questions I got, I have sent those on. But the only contract that I've signed in the past that doesn't have to do with actually an event, the three events, is the venue itself. And that's been sent to me for years.
Well, we've had 2 or 3 quartets every year for 20 years. So this must have come up before.
Yeah, it has come up before. I think Ed's right. I mean, it has come up before. And they were signed by the person who was running the school, whether that was the way we were supposed to do it or not. It started with Antonio, who actually signed everything. And then
I think that's in keeping with the expectations, right? If you've got a budget, you're running the event and it's under your purview as a vice president, then you should be okay to sign the contract.
Okay, well, I would suggest then that we formalize that process by documenting it in the minutes. I don't necessarily think it needs to be part of the ops code, but we have been fairly loose in the application. And Mike, this goes along with your concerns about rubber stamping everything, because as soon as that contract's signed by an authorized person in the district, we're committed.
Yep.
Well, I've already signed the vouchers. I've already signed the vouchers for the down payments on both of them. So I believe, John, that you have the signed vouchers back for the down payments, correct?
I do, but those are approved by Mike, because the one thing that is in the ops code, the president of the district has to approve every expense.
No, I understand that,
And
but
as Mike,
I got those first and signed off on them, and then sent it back to you, and then it goes to Mike.
Right, but technically it should go to Mike before it's signed as a contract, because you're authorizing funds to be spent that haven't been approved by the district president. I don't want to get into a lengthy discussion here. I just really wanted to take the opportunity to raise the issue and suggest that we need to do something to document our processes a little bit better and then stick to them.
Well,
I mean, at this point, we have no contract with Worcester State. We're working on a verbal at this point with Worcester State.
Right, but I haven't sent them a deposit yet either.
Oh, all right, good. Okay.
But specifically, this is about the Pratt Street Power contract. Right?
Yeah, this is about
And
the
it-
town, which I
Right.
haven't committed anything to, obviously. I haven't gotten anything in writing for this position. I have no idea what what I'm supposed to do. And so I'm happy to send it to Mike, have him sign off. I just didn't want to sign anything without knowing the proper channels. So
Well, in order to move this along, I will make the suggestion right now that we authorize Amanda to sign the contract for Pratt Street Power for HC&E 2022, and then work on getting a better developed process documented.
okay.
Second.
I don't, is that a motion or do we not?
Yeah,
need
I'm
that?
taking it as I'm writing it as a motion. So let's do it. Let's treat it like a motion.
Alan is seconding.
Should we add all of the quartets that contract for HC&E into that motion? I mean, if there's other contracts besides Pratt Street that are sending contracts, should we have Amanda be able to sign whatever quartet sends her a
Right.
contract for HC&E?
Rather than having Amanda's name on it, I think what Ed is referring to is that a vice president
Right,
should
the
be
vice
able to,
president of, yes.
should be able to do it. So for example, Scott might need to sign something for Harmony X Camp. Right? So I think if we friendly amend the motion to say vice president of the board, a vice president of the board, that will encompass all the people that have something to do. Okay, we had Alan still
So-
nodding, so he's still seconding that friendliness. Any other questions, comments?
So do we
What?
want to specifically about contracts with quartets, or are you saying like contracts for their programs? Right now,
Yeah.
we're approving to sign contracts with quartets, including Pratt Street Power for HC&E 2022. Is that what's
It really would be clinicians and as well, right? Because some of those are going to require contracts. There actually may be a contract necessary with the EMT or health services or whatever we have in that regard. So there will be other types than just quartets.
Andrea, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a slight concern. I feel like we're slightly backtracking for already the contracts that have been signed and the contracts that are already given to the clinicians who've already signed and have them. If this is something that can be fortified for 2023, absolutely. But I'm concerned about backtracking, and which makes me concerned about null and voiding the contracts that are already been committed to.
Who has signed those contracts, Andrew?
I already have Luster, I already have Wildfire, Wendy McCool, and Sean Devine are done.
Right, but who signed those? You did?
I did because it's the
Yeah.
same contract that's been used in the past few years.
Well, so we could include Andrea in that list. I mean, that's
I don't know if this is something you want to table for 100%
Uh,
for 2023 to make sure it's 100, just to make sure it's what the district wants to have going forward. But I think what Amanda wants to really make sure is happening is just, let's just give her power or whatever you need to have done so that she can move on and have things committed, if I'm correcting.
Or we just make it from now forward, and then if you have any other contracts, Andrea, you just have to get Scott to sign them.
Yeah, but stay with the vice president. Andrea, do you expect any other contracts that you have to sign?
Right now, I'm working on an EMT contract.
But that's something that Scott could sign if that comes through.
It's just really copy and paste signature by at that point.
Because it was taking Mike Savard's suggestion of
So
from
this
here
is,
forward, then we don't have to worry about backtracking.
this is my concern. If it's supposed to be a legalized document, then being stated in this position, I was under the impression that I already had the rights to go ahead and just sign under the district. Because being that I'm the director of the Harmony Explosion Camp, I can go ahead. I already have Scott's approval. He already knows what I'm doing. So I don't know why I have to get additional signature unless it's because it's a district level concern, because he has to be from somebody from the district. So I don't know why we would want to backtrack.
Well, it's not backtracking. What we're trying to do is just make it so that it makes sense in the future. And if we need to include the dean of Harmony College Northeast and the director of the Harmony Explosion Camp, we can do that in the amendment very easily. You know, either a vice president or the dean of one of the schools. I think that's a pretty easy addition to it, without belaboring it and saying, well, what about the third assistant to the person that was, you know.
Mike, this is the reason I brought it up. Andrea, I don't believe you've done anything wrong.
Oh, I know that.
I believe you've done things consistent with the way they've been done in the past. It's my concern that has been not very well coordinated and controlled, and that's what I'm trying to address here. And again, I would say, because these are legal documents that are binding the district, I would personally limit it to people who are members of the board. And for each of the events like Harmony College, Harmony Explosion, any other things that we do, there usually, or in fact, I think there almost always is a vice president who is overseeing that effort. And at least going forward, I would suggest we limit it to that group.
Is there something in the operating code of who can bind the district, Alan?
I couldn't find anything.
Because we should, I would imagine we should have, you know, someday we're going to have a legal thing about that, you know, who actually can bind the district. I think that would be relatively important. I mean, not now, but we've gotten away with it for so many years, but someday somebody's going to sue us. And
In order to wrap this up, why don't we put a date of September 1st on it? That, you know, or we can move it to the House of Delegates meeting for a vote. That will allow us to get through this summer with whatever has been done. Glenn?
Yeah, I just want to take Andrea's point. I think it's fair. Like, if she's already signed these contracts, let's not null and void those. So I think we should include that amendment about the deans through, like, so that we're not running into any problems.
Well, that's why I'm saying if we date this for the fall,
gotcha.
Nothing will change from what's been done so far. Amanda can take care of Pratt Street Power. The ones that Andrea signed or is about to sign is fine. And then we can make this so that it's a vote at the House of Delegates meeting. So everybody knows what the process will be in the future.
Question, Mike?
Yep.
Please. Back right after last October's election of officers here in the main quadrant, I asked David Patterson if I was authorized to swear in the elected officers for the next year. His response to me was, yes, you have that authority. It's called eminently qualified. I would think this would apply to what we're talking about tonight.
I respectfully disagree, Marshall.
Yeah, no, I think it's a little bit different.
That's an informal
right
process that doesn't have any real legal binding, where signing a contract does. I see those as two completely different things.
Okay.
I didn't intend to belabor this too much, but I did want to at least get it on the table for discussion.
I don't think that's what I intended, Glenn.
What That's why I wanted to share.
What I'm looking for is that we essentially say that we will have a vote at the House of Delegates meeting for this process in the future.
Okay. Yeah, but that's not part of the motion necessarily, though.
I will withdraw the motion and table it for discussion at another meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with withdrawing the second as long as by us doing this, we're telling Andrea and Amanda that what they've done is okay, especially Andrea, because she's not on the board.
Okay, we're all good with that? And we
Okay.
will make it an agenda item for the House of Delegates meeting. That will clear us through this summer. Okay. Anything else, Andrea or Scott, on HX?
Not for me, Andrea.
Yes, so I was able to secure an EMT for camp, who is licensed nationally, and has had at least a year of experience and able to be with us as well. Any questions on that? Because I did ask John Englander if there was any concern about whether or not she needed a special Massachusetts certificate. And I looked into it, and it's only if it's for long-term residency in Massachusetts, not for the weekend. I did ask Buck and Sherry, who was previous EMTs, if that was a concern. They said, nope. Their national registration was more than enough. But I wanted to at least clarify with the board.
Okay. We're all good with that? Seeing no objections. Thank you, Andrea.
Thanks.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Scott.
I was just wanting to at least point out that this is, we are in at least at the last week of school. I'm in the process of trying to make sure I connect to the chapters so that I can at least give them the tools necessary, if they haven't been already, to get out there. I have had one minor issue with finding out that recently that there are school districts that need permission to give us permission to hand out the flyers and connect before we even connect with the schools. So I am working on that as right now. But I think they're starting to wrap up. Really would like to see as many people participate as possible to get camp up and running, as far as letting everybody know so that we can go on and go forth. So thank you.
Scott, Steve?
So Andrew, you know, the bottom of all of our flyers states what the school needs to know. It's
Right.
purposely included on our flyers, so at the very bottom. So all HX flyers say the same thing. That
Yes,
is
but
not
it's be approved before it's sent to the schools
understand.
themselves. So I contact the district personally. I get the email address and I send them the flyer to which you have made to make sure they have the correct information.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then it's approved. I've had some success so far. Some of them have put them on their newsletters, websites, but it's a little bit of a lengthy process at the moment. Thank you, Steve.
And now.
Okay, anything else?
Actually, Mike, if I might, I kind of interjected at the end of Amanda's presentation, so I hopefully did not cut her short. But I would also request that you send me the schedule for HC&E as soon as it's finalized, because I need that for registration purposes.
Will do. And I meant to thank you for raising that question for me, the contract stuff. I appreciate you guys addressing that.
Okie doke. All right. Next on the agenda is, I was just wondering if we should notify the chapters about the dues going back into effect, or we just let them find out.
I don't mind telling them, Mike, but I would wait until the last minute to do it, because I've already had a few people send me emails, and I may be reading into it, but I may not be reading into it incorrectly, that they're going to get their dues paid before it goes back up. So, there's nothing I can do to prevent that, but I'm not sure I'd want to give people a lot of time to do it. However, sending out a notification that they are going back into effect is probably a reasonable thing to do.
Well, Ed, are you going to have a newsletter this month?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, Steve, it's in Steve's hands right now.
Is there a way to put a line at the bottom of it or something?
Really tiny print. Yes.
Well, I mean, it's May 22nd now. It's going to go back in effect May 28th. So you're not going to get a lot of people jumping to try to do something in the next couple of days, probably.
John, do you mind sending me text with whatever
One
notice?
sentence?
Yeah, sure. I can send you some.
I don't want to make it up.
Yeah, just a one sentence statement kind of thing, just either way.
Reminder.
Yeah, you could even phrase it that way, BTW down the bottom or something. Okay. I have not talked to Brian lately. Ed, have you had any contact with Brian Riley?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I will try to jump on that. And I also sent a text to Sebi, but we don't see him. Other members of NEDAC, Dan, do you know any happenings of NEDAC for any particular reason? I haven't seen anything.
Not since the survey.
Okay.
Is that knowledgeable to the board about what the NEDAC group decided via the survey?
Well, I want to hear that officially from Sebi. That's, what I'm getting at, but okay. I didn't miss anything. Last board meeting, we talked about some of these special committees. The Bachelor of Harmony, I asked you to think about it, take a look at the website, see what's on there. Chapter Achievement, a comedy quartet contest, and several other things that might be on there. I don't know if any of you, this is not earth shaking. It's been on there for 25 years. It probably, could be on there for another few. Not going to hurt anyone. But did anyone have a chance to make any comments about that? Then we'll skip it for now.
Steve,
Just a quick question then, because this has come up at a number of meetings. And I guess what I just would like to know is, are you wanting me to drop these pages from the website so it's just totally off our radar? I mean, some of them are old, they're dated, they've got other people's names on it that have nothing to do with today's board. So the question is, Bachelor of Barbershop Harmony, Chapter Achievement Program, Chorus Director Development, Standing Ovation, Youth in Harmony, which is also old, as well as the Youth Harmony Workshop Northeast. So those 6 items are under programs, and all are old information, not being driven. Well, I would say not all of them are, but most of them are not under anyone's purview right now. And so if you feel these should be deleted, I'll delete them. I mean, when I delete them, all I do is disable them.
Yeah, I understand. But my point was going to be that if it's in your area, obviously, if it says the word youth in it, it's probably in Scott's area, and he should take a look at that and see what needs to be updated. If it has something to do with, membership development, then Diane maybe should look at it, or the Standing Ovation program, or if it's chorus director orientated, then Dan should take a look at it. Everything we do falls under someone on this board. There's not one thing that the district does, it isn't under one of our responsibilities. It may end up being mine, but so if what I would ask you to do is, if that's the case, for Scott or Dan or Diane or whomever, take a look at those and see if it can be updated. Some of them can be updated very easily. If if it's under membership and you think the Bachelor of Harmony thing is good and Art Lively was doing it and he still wants to do it, then great. Let's get it activated and do something with it rather than just having it lie fallow. Alan, the comedy quartet contest is something that, you know, maybe we can take a look at down the road. That would obviously fall under contest and judging, so, or event planning. Yes, Dan.
Well,
I
it's
like-
in the op code is an actual contest. It's in there. So if we're gonna do something with it, some of these are in the op code. We're gonna have to do something with that.
Okay.
I like the idea of the Bachelor Barbershop Harmony. I looked at it and I thought it was a good idea. If someone like happens upon it, maybe we could put it in a newsletter eventually, Ed, and just say, hey, you know, there's this thing where you can show your chapter members how much you're committed to our hobby. And also, I like some of the old links that Eric Ruthenberg has left in the director's page. So I think they're still useful. Steve, thanks.
Okay.
Well, I implore you all to take a look at that when you have a minute. I know we're all busy doing a million things, but something that might become useful to someone. Let's go down.
Mike,
Yeah.
you skipped over expense reimbursement.
I did. I did. You know why? Because I've got the agenda from printed before I did that. So it's not on this agenda. But I remember putting it on there. John touched on this earlier, expense reimbursement, how we handle it and so forth. We must have an accuracy. There is no way that you know, that some of these things that are just kind of falling through the cracks, that as I've taken the term of rubber stamping. And was it John that sent me the nice graphic of the rubber stamp, or was that Steve? Somebody sent me a nice graphic of a rubber stamp.
It wasn't me.
No? Oh, it was Alan. Okay. That was a very nice graphic. I should have kept it so I could put it on all the.
I'll put it on the next one, Mike.
It's an issue. I mean, there are things I try to look at these things. I'm sure there's no way John can look at all those line items. Like, did we ever find out who Barry Walker was, and did we pay for his meal?
That is still being worked on. But
You know,
yeah, as of the moment, we paid for his meal.
He's willing to pay. He understands he never paid for it and he was never given a bill. So you can send it to me, John, if you want, and I'll get it to Barry.
Okay.
But there's things on there. We have somebody that filled out expenses and is giving tips of 35–40%, and then putting that in as part of the expense. It falls under how much they're allowed to spend, so it just gets paid. But you know, those things really frost my bucket, as one of the guys I used to work with used to say, that we're just getting nickel and dimes in lots of places, and we spend a lot of money. And I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, because that's what it might be if we start looking at all this stuff. But we really need to look at the things that John has talked about is people that attend conventions, and are we paying for too many meals, not enough meals? Are we paying for expenses that shouldn't be paid? We really need to have a committee to look at this closer. It's not something that I can do or John can do alone. It's up to all of us. And I think we really need someone to do this. If someone has an idea, again, I'm asking you all, if you have an idea and you think that you know of someone that could head up a task force to get this stuff clarified. We also need to talk about things like mileage, where people aren't getting paid enough. You know, for example, if we're paying, what is it, 30 cents a mile
Yes.
And it's really costing 58 cents. You know, we need someone to look at that so that we do pay these things fairly. Mike, is any of this coming up under the expenses of the Almano fund where you're talking about mileage or anything like that?
No, we're not including anything like that.
Okay.
But I am willing to take on this task force.
One of the questions that we've always had on these for years is that we don't really know what these contests cost us as an expenses, because a lot of the expenses aren't put in for. All the traveling that I do, I don't put in for. And it's not just me, it's been going on for quite a while, that we've never gotten a handle on exactly what it cost us to do that, because there's a lot of people doing this who are eating the expenses. And that's looking at the other side of it too, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Well,
There's another side of it that you're getting from a few people a lot less than it's actually costing. And that is something that I think John brought that up years ago or something, that for budgeting, we really don't know how much these things actually cost us.
Yeah, I think we're afraid to find out.
That's exactly the problem. Yeah, I think we're afraid to figure out how much it costs with travel and what's involved in all this stuff.
well, it is up to each of us. You know, I'm with you, Bob. John will know he hasn't gotten a whole pile of expense reports from me. And that doesn't mean that the next president or the president 5 years from now shouldn't be putting in those expenses. But just like you, the next vice president of events doesn't mean they shouldn't put in for them just because you didn't. And so that's going to be part of it. So I guess, Mike Savard, listening to all this, maybe you can get some ideas and, maybe gather a few brilliant minds to try to get a handle on this.
Yep, I will do that.
Alan, since you're looking at the new agenda, did I skip anything else?
No.
Mike,
Okay.
I hate to do this, but can I go back to one we've already discussed? I meant to ask this when we were talking about it and I forgot, but one of the emails I got in relation to the district dues waiver was a question about whether or not that would be extended. And I'm guessing from the lack of anybody bringing it up that there's no reason for us to discuss extending that, but I guess I'd rather have it be an affirmative decision as opposed to a non-decision that we all assume was made. So,
I think,
is there
as I
anybody?
recall,
Hmm?
sorry, the motion
I'll
last year
move that
expired.
our dues holiday expire on May 28th and not be extended.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that we need a motion because last year's motion was for a year, and as long as we don't.
I don't think we need a motion either. I just wanted to make sure we're all in agreement that
Okay.
that's the right course of action.
I didn't hear what Alan said, so we'll pretend I didn't hear what Alan said. Does anyone strongly disagree that we let it happen?
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, it seems like since we're running contests again and we have expenses, it makes sense, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. All right, going down the list of officers, Mike Savard, anything else from you?
Just something to think about for our next meeting or the meeting after that. Based on the number of people that left the Western Convention with COVID, we're going to need to keep an eye on what the situation is as we get closer to August with HC&E and the explosion camp. We may need to add some precautions or not. We have to talk about it. I mean, I think our plan of by limiting participation to fully vaccinated people worked in the sense that although a lot of people got tested positive, I'm not aware of any serious cases. So, but with the cases rising and hospitalizations going up, we should be at least thinking about that as we get closer to those next events.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the Sweet Adeline Convention not only made everyone show proof of vaccination and boosters, they also made them show a negative test within 24 hours of arrival to the convention. Which the only person that did not comply with that was me, because I didn't believe they were really going to enforce it. They did, so I had to go up into a hotel room and take a test and show them the negative test. So I was the only idiot that didn't do it. Oh, Amanda, you didn't do it either ahead of time? Oh, you just
I did it. I was doing that to you.
Okay.
Just a wag of the finger.
I told them I wasn't used to being treated like one of the riffraff, you know, but that didn't go over well. No, not even a smirk, particularly from my wife. So that's something to consider. And Mike, you know, obviously at each board meeting, we can review that and see what the latest status is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was at school graduations this weekend, and yeah, all indoor activities were with masks, and yeah, and people, and already they knew everybody was already vaccinated, so yeah, it was very, very strict.
I can also tell you, I'm going to Toronto this weekend to judge an HI contest, and there's only 2 things I had to do to enter Canada. One, you have to go in, and it's a software program called Arrive Canada. You have to go in at some point and open an account. You have to load up your passport number and images of your vaccination card. As long as you have the vaccinations, you're cleared. As some of you know, I was one of the ones with COVID after Western Regional. And as early as this past week, I still test positive. Doctor says I'll be testing positive for another 2 months, even though I don't have it. I called the people in Canada and I said, this is what I've done. I understand 72 hours before I have to fill in a little survey. If I don't do that, you pull me aside at customs and do whatever it is you're going to do to me at customs. And I said, but I have both vaccinations and both boosters. And the woman said to me, that's all you need. We don't need anything else. So as of right now, we got to think about this, because any of us going to St. John has to go on and create an Arrive Canada account and go in 72 hours before we get there and fill in another form. But I guess you can cross the border with COVID as long as you have your vaccinations.
Definitely something we need to look at for the house, you know, for
later
without scaring people off.
Right.
As strict as they were at the Sweet Adeline's convention, well, this morning I found out that 2 people tested positive that were negative when they went, showed their negative test. Today they're positive. So I don't know what good that did, but anything else, Alan, from you?
Nothing.
Bob Bradley?
No.
You good? See, Bob, you still have electricity.
I know it's been, the storm is supposed to be over at 8:45. So I'm,
Okay, well, we're going to be
I
done.
lucked
before
out.
that. We got 2 minutes left here. Dan, anything from you?
I reached out to a few more people for the mini HU at St. John.
Okay. Amanda, anything else from your other areas?
Nope.
By the way, Carol Lee is not online with us tonight. She has been very sick with COVID. She's over it or getting over it, but boy, she sounded awful last couple of weeks. Diane, anything from you?
Just a couple things. We're gonna try to resume the Mountain Division Interchapter Picnic August 6th. And then as far as my M&O responsibilities.
Diane, you say on the 6th of June?
Nope, August 6th.
August 6th, sorry.
Yep, August 6th. So we're going to try to do that, barring any big rise in COVID. And I'm also reaching out to the smaller chapters that are having some issues moving forward, such as there's Pittsfield, there's Concord, and Greater Montreal, or not, yes, Greater Montreal just changed their name. So I'm working with some of the smaller chapters to see how we can help them. And
Steve?
that's,
If you said August 6th, Diane,
yes.
so that's the weekend of Harmony College.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
I
okay.
don't want to
I'm-
preclude anybody from having the opportunity to go to Harmony College.
Correct. So I appreciate that. I can reach out. It'll be easy to change, so not an issue.
Okay, thanks.
Make it an event at HCNE
There you go.
for Sunday. They come for Saturday and then they stay for Sunday.
Steve, anything else from you?
Nothing for me.
Scott?
Nope.
And we heard from Andrea. Anything else, Andrea's, if she's with us or not? Okay, division managers. Jim? All set? Marshall?
Golden, Colorado.
Doug, how about you?
I'm sorry.
No, I said about Doug Schofield.
I'm fine.
You're fine? All right,
Under
feeling
control.
fine. Okay. Yes, Diane.
I'm wondering, Glenn, did you get a chance to touch base with Steve Dwyer? Since he's our new Mountain Division manager, and invite him.
Glenn, you're muted.
Let me double check that I sent it, but I believe, yeah, if you sent it to me, then I did it. But let me, Steve Dwyer, division managers, I have. Nope, let me add him to the list right now.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you for
Thanks.
finding Steve.
Oh yeah, no, I did. He's added there. So I'll double check that, but he did, I don't know if he got this meeting invite, so he'll get the next one if I didn't get it to him. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know he got it because I think I emailed you the reminder and I also sent him the link.
Okay,
So
yeah,
he would
but he's
have
on the
gotten it.
list now, so he gets it every time.
Good, thank you.
Anyone, anything else? We're all good? 8:31, close. We'll see you on June 26th for the next meeting. If anything comes up before then, as you know, we're very capable of gathering a last minute Zoom. So thank you all for your attendance and have a cool evening. Don't get too hot. Bob, stay out of the lightning.
Hey, Steve, could you hang on after the meeting?
Okay,
Okay, good night, everyone.
okay.
I know.
So
I guess we missed the motion to adjourn, but we all know what we meant.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All
Bye.
right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, sign off.
All right. Good night.
Okay, so the secretary is still on this meeting. Hi, can anybody talk? Can anybody hear me?
Yep.
Now I
Yep.
can.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so I just figured if we could get together and just figure out, a way to work positively forward and, get things under proper move forward positioning. So I guess there's been some issues and let's just kind of get those out of the way and get things, on a good course. So I don't know who wants to go first, Andrea?
I just need to make sure that the things that I am responsible for, I'm the one that's calling the shots for those things. I was under the impression that you were going to just do logos and making sure that dates were right and making sure that the websites were correct. I was not under the impression that you would go ahead, make changes without my knowledge or inform me of. I feel that you've kind of stepped the ball on some of the things and not getting my approval on some things. And so I feel like it's been jumped before I had a chance to at least get my part in so I know what's going on.
Yeah, Andrea, I don't know what to say. I have a long reply to you, which I didn't send. And my job is marketing to the district first and foremost. I work with all of the different program leadership in order to do my job.
Okay.
I haven't done anything that's contradictory to what's been done in the past. And I take exception at Scott and his reply to me on how to handle this. And I take exception to you ordering me to do things. That's not how a volunteer organization works. So I'm feeling I'm very unsettled about this, and you're right. So I don't know what else to say. I'm being totally honest.
I do apologize if anything I've ever stated came across as ordering, but I was under the impression that I was not allowed to do anything to the documents without you doing it to. I am trying to learn how this works as far as what my responsibilities are.
Skip the documents. I could care less about the documents. The scoop here is that we want to get this program so that everybody knows about it. Okay. I helped out
We're
with
going back to the documents because this is where this is coming from.
Well, I've been handling the documents for Dan and company for a bunch of years. And I did it for the last 2 years with obviously no benefit because we ended up canceling. It was about consistency in terms of getting the message out to the audience. And the audience in this case is students in high school, as well as chapters and the district.
Yes,
end
but
of
you
story.
never sent me your deadline. I was not given a deadline that was my deadline. Your deadline was your deadline. It was not. All right, this is backtracking. You made changes to documents without my permission. You sent them out without my approval to be sent out. Going back to Wednesday, when I had a conversation to you about the frequently asked questions, I said I needed to get a chance to go through those and make sure that it says what I needed to say. But you had gone through with the changes and made changes to it and put it on Facebook.
Andrea, that's been posted since March.
Not the one you sent on
It
4
has.
o'clock in the morning.
It's been posted online since the end of March. So, for it to come
With the
up
changes
all of a
made?
sudden now just seems really odd to me. And basically all the work that was done, whether I should be doing it or not, made it all kind of moot because basically.
You did the work if you made sure the logos.
Have you
were
looked
right,
at the
and
website?
everything else.
Have you looked at all the documents that are on the website?
Yes.
And you're good with all of that?
I haven't had a chance to tell you what I am or not good at. I'm trying to get things out to these kids.
Well, there's the rub. So,
all right.
If you want me to take stuff down from the website, I'll be happy to take it down.
I don't want you to make executive decisions that are decisions that are my responsibility to make, to changes to the documents.
And what did I change? Because there was no directive.
There were some changes, I think, to the check-in process. Wasn't there some change in the check-in process?
The schedule hasn't even been published yet. So this is a non-issue.
But you had a very strong opinion about it and told me that it doesn't make any sense. And you were being very argumentative about it.
But that's just between us right now. Andrea, that's fine. you know, this is fine. I'm going to pull right out, actually. I'm going to let you take care of everything HX, and I'm not going to help you with any of it. All right. So you do what you need to do, and I'll do what I need to do. And I won't be doing anything for HX. I don't know what else to tell you.
I feel
You
like
know
you're trying to
something,
make it
let me
so
tell you
black and
something. There
white.
isn't a single person in this district who tells me what to do, okay, for their program. I end up actually pushing information and actually pulling information. I don't get anything without me being super forward about anything with everybody. If I waited for Bob Bradley to send me hotel information for spring contests, I would never get it. I have 17 people right now asking about hotels in St. John, and I don't have the information from Bob Bradley. So I have to keep reminding Bob Bradley that he has to send it to me. And then it becomes a last minute thing, and I have to sit here and pull it all together because people wanted it yesterday. Okay, it's now the middle of May. Chapters should all know about what they need to know. But you know something? That's me trying to be forward with helping you make your event successful. And I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, if you don't want me to do that, then I won't do it. And that's fine.
I think we're not clear on what's going on. I don't think we're clear at all. I am learning how to handle this position. This is the first time I am ever doing this. And I need a step-by-step process. I needed the 1 step, 2, 3, 4, and not all at once. I know that your chapters are begging for this. I know that they were asking for that. And I had unforeseen situations. If you did one email after another, asking for this, that, and the other, then I would know what I'm supposed to do. Instead, you asked some of your emails I didn't understand. I had to ask other people what it meant so I could do what I could. You know, I'm doing the best that I can, Steve.
Okay, no, I understand.
I'm not asking for black and white. I'm asking for shades of color.
Yep, okay.
And I don't think I ever came across that I was ordering you how to do your job. I was coming across as I was told this is my job and this is what I have to do.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm clearly then I'm in the way, and you just tell me what you want and I'll let you know if I can do it. Okay. I'm not going to take a proactive approach to this anymore. It's all got to come from you. I understand that. Okay. So there'll be nothing more coming from me that's going to be proactive. And I'm not going to care. No, I won't even go there. So yeah, no, that's fine. I understand.
I'm going to actually ask for right now to make sure I understand my place. If I could please have Scott inform me what is my responsibility and how am I supposed to make sure it's done correctly without having to have a situation like this. So I don't, one, make anybody feel as if I am ordering anybody around, because if that is how I'm coming across, I want that definitely cleared up. And two, making sure that this doesn't happen again so that I need to fix what I need to fix.
Well, obviously running the logistics of the program is your responsibility, and utilizing the resources of the district, in which you know, Steve is one of the people to you know, help make things happen. I think though that if changes are made to you know, documents that are you know, policy or logistics, they do need to, you know, to have your approval to make sure that you're fine with it. I think that's just you know, common, you know, operation, because you're the one that has the you know, the say in how the program runs. And I think if that's, you know, the way that things work, then, you know, I think that's a operation method that makes sense.
And that's where I am struggling, because I'm been back and forth with one upsetting Steve because I would have an email saying, what are you doing the documents? Why am I doing this for? When I would make just changes that I wanted done to the document. And I didn't change the date or the logo or any of that stuff. And then I get feedback that, you know, I'm as if I'm doing something wrong. Like I had no place to do so. Maybe it's the overall atmospheric language of the email that I'm not accustomed to that makes me feel as if it's a, you know, abrupt attack on me. I hate the word the attack because it's very strong, but I mean, it's very like screaming at me. It's loud.
Another thing to keep in mind is that the way Dan was running the program is different than what we're trying to do now. And that's, you know, there were things that maybe he didn't take a proactive role and that's just a little bit of a different approach.
Okay,
But
understood.
so I think everyone can work together. It's just better communication, more communication, and just you know, I understand that different people have different ways of communicating, and maybe, you know, a little bit of softening would help a little bit. So
I hope there's no hard feelings. I am just trying to make sure that I know my place.
Nope, you're right.
I want to make sure that I'm not failing this program and that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I need to know that I have control over said team.
Yeah. It's a what's the with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
You know, what's interesting is that in the long run, the only way anybody finds out about anything that happens in this district is through communications.
And that's maybe my biggest downfall. I don't know. I've never had to come across how the district runs.
Well, part of it is timing. You know, I would like things not at the last minute. That is a hopeful thing that is too idealistic. And barbershoppers notoriously are procrastinators until the very last minute. I try my best for that not to be the case in terms of us pushing the information out.
I agree with you, and I want to apologize to you. That was never my intention this year, but due to, you know, the things that I was handed, it did push it back.
Yep.
It pushed it back beyond the goal to which I had necessary. And I'd apologize that in domino effect affected you.
Well, apology, it doesn't, thank you for the apology, but for me, that's no consolation. And just, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful. The scoop here is that I don't care. I want our guys to know about this. I want us to help us out. That's all. That's all I want out of this. And
you're always one of those.
And that, you know, so I'll continue to do that as best as I can. That's the best I can do.
So my question to you, until I can have a grip on all of this, are you happy to get one piece at a time and not the abundance of everything at once?
Sure. Yep. I don't think there's anybody in the entire district that has any complaint about me getting information out once they got it to me. So I've been pretty responsive.
Okay.
So
I just want to make sure that this is not failing because of me.
Oh, well,
okay.
No.
And Steve, I think you and I have the personalities that just are explosive. I remember when I had an opportunity to talk to you outside and how we wanted to make changes. And I felt really bad that the fact that the directors never included you in the team. And I wanted that to change. And that's why I wanted this to happen. And I apologize again for the outcome of this.
Well, you know, thank you. Thank you very much, because not too many people noticed that. And that means a lot. And thank you, because I'm usually the last to hear, and yet I'm the first person that needs to get the information out. So Interesting how that comes around. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I don't want to lose you, Steve. I just want to find a solution to our problem. And I know it always seems like if I just drop everything, it's just easier to just back out. I just prefer, I'm a fixer. I want to fix these problems, and I will outsource until I find a way to fix these problems. And that's
Sure.
half the reason why I asked Scott to see if we can talk together so that I know how to do this. I can't make other people do anything. I can only make myself.
Well,
So
I'm willing to help. Just ask for it.
that's fine. And we will have to work better
Because
on our
honestly,
communication.
this is a big job. I mean, this is a huge responsibility for you. And
I
after
know.
2 years of complacency, it's even worse.
It's
So,
fine.
you know, I have utmost respect for you, you know, plowing right through this stuff. And with all kinds of hurdles that have been thrown at you. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, it sounds like we got things worked out. I think we can, you know, move forward and understand each other a little bit better. So that's great.
And again,
Okay, we good?
Yep.
Just one
So-
little,
So,
And then we're happy to
so
finish.
for you, I
Yes.
to answer one of my emails that I sent to you, Andrea, I guess the EMS idea for an
Mhm.
ad is not necessary because I'm
No.
about to publish the newsletter. So you're all set. Congratulations on that.
but if you would like to have something to fill, then I'm happy to. If not, completely disregard.
What's that again?
I've always need a flyer that could say always happy to have volunteer staff members for camp, because I do have a lot of
Okay.
positions that still need to be filled.
Okay,
I don't want
All
to
right.
list, I don't
but
want to
not
list.
the
them.
EMS. Okay, good.
But if it's additional work, then forget it. We can always get it another time.
It's always additional work, Andrea, but I don't mind doing
Then
it because
disregard.
I'm reaching out for you, and that's
Not
important.
necessary at the moment.
That's my job.
It's not necessary until 2023. So we're good for right now.
Okay.
So thank you. Again,
Well,
thank you,
any
Scott.
position, you know, anything.
I know. I
Okay.
know. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Scott. And feel free to text me, call me if you need ASAP, the speed on something. If I'm at work, I can at least look at my phone and we can go from there. So thank you, guys.
Okay.
I appreciate
Good.
it. You two are helping
Thank
me.
you all.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yep. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.